At dawn, over the Kremlin's red brick walls, the city wakes in uneasy silence. Moscow feels powerful. Armored cars hum beneath the surface. Propaganda echoes on every channel. Yet something deeper trembles inside the state. 3 decades after the Soviet Union's fall, a second collapse may be unfolding in slow motion. This time, it's not communism cracking apart. It's the illusion of control.
For 23 years, Vladimir Putin ruled Russia like a chess master. Calm, strategic, ruthless. He rebuilt pride from the ruins of the 1990s, crushed oligarchs, silenced dissent, and told his people that order had returned. But history is a patient enemy. Empires rarely fall with explosions. They decay from within, eaten by corruption, fear, and fatigue.
The invasion of Ukraine was supposed to be his triumph, a lightning war to restore Russia's place in the world. Instead, it became his bleeding wound. Thousands of tanks destroyed, generals humiliated, soldiers fighting with rusted rifles and Chinese radios. Sanctions bite, oil revenues shrank, and the world that once feared Moscow now studies its weakness.
Inside the Kremlin, paranoia spreads like a virus. Intelligence chiefs whisper that regional governors are building their own militias. Oligarchs die mysteriously, suicides that no one believes. Even the loyal media can't hide the cracks. A country where half the drones come from Iran and half the coffins return from the front.
By night, the old ghosts of the Soviet Union stir. Empty villages, silent factories, soldiers without purpose. The same symptoms that marked the USSR in its final decade are back. Economic stagnation, elite infighting, and the slow collapse of faith. Only now, the empire has nuclear teeth and a leader who refuses to blink. In 1989, it was Berlin's wall that fell. In 2025, the walls are digital, information leaks, viral videos, battlefield failures that no censorship can contain. The Russian state still controls the television, but it cannot control the truth bleeding through the internet. Even soldiers at the front stream their despair from muddy trenches. Yet to understand this unraveling, we must look not at the war, but at the man behind it. Putin's power was never built on ideology. It was built on fear, nostalgia, and control. For years, he offered stability in exchange for silence. But when silence becomes unbearable, even loyal citizens begin to whisper. In distant regions, Chechnya, Dagestan, the Far East, loyalty is now transactional. Local warlords and governors act more like independent rulers than subordinates. The Federation remains united on paper, but in spirit, it's fracturing. The periphery no longer believes the center can protect it. Meanwhile, Russia's brightest minds flee westward. Its population shrinks, and its army bleeds. Factories can still produce shells, but not suns. Each funeral weakens the myth of invincibility. Each mobilization sparks new resistance. Mothers who once cheered the special operation now burn draft papers in protest. Inside Putin's own circle, old allies sense the tide turning. They remember 1991, when generals and party chiefs woke up one morning to find that the Soviet Union had simply ceased to exist. No revolution, no foreign invasion, just exhaustion. Bureaucratic collapse disguised as inevitability. And that's the quiet terror haunting the Kremlin today, that one morning, power itself will vanish. The irony is brutal. Putin rose to avenge the fall of the USSR, to restore the pride of a wounded empire. Yet in doing so, he may have recreated the same conditions that doomed it: isolation, economic rot, and the endless drain of war. The harder he clenches his fist, the faster loyalty slips through his fingers. Still, the Russian state is vast, unpredictable, and capable of brutal survival. Its collapse, if it comes, will not be neat. There will be no new Yeltsin waving from a tank, no crowds tearing down statues. Instead, expect something slower, stranger, regions breaking away under cover of darkness, generals hoarding power, propaganda turning inward as the empire feeds on itself. At the heart of it all, one question remains. What happens when fear no longer works? When soldiers stop obeying? When lies no longer convince even those who tell them? Empires die not when they are defeated, but when they no longer believe in their own story.
Today, Putin still rules from the Kremlin, still speaks of destiny and strength. But outside those walls, history whispers the same warning it once gave to the Soviet Union. No empire is eternal, and the collapse always begins long before anyone admits it.